Welcome, dear traveler, to the Timeless Vault. Today we're unraveling the dark origins of orcs in Middle-earth. Discover how Morgoth twisted elves into these fearsome creatures, creating a legacy of corruption and evil. Listen carefully, dear traveler, so as to learn the chilling story behind the creation of orcs. The creation story of orcs in Middle-earth is a dark and complex tale that underscores themes of corruption, perversion, and the subversion of beauty into monstrosity. The origin of the orcs begins with Melkor, later known as Morgoth, the first and mightiest of the Ainur. Morgoth, a Vala, was originally created by Eru Ilúvatar, the supreme deity of Tolkien's legendarium. Driven by a desire for power and dominion, Morgoth rebelled against Ilúvatar, sowing discord and chaos within the universe. His fall from grace led him to become the first Dark Lord, embodying the essence of evil and corruption in Middle-earth. Morgoth's most heinous act was the creation of orcs, beings twisted from the original form of the elves. When the elves, the firstborn children of Ilúvatar, awoke by the waters of Cuiviénen in the far eastern regions of Middle-earth, they were initially free and untouched by evil. However, some of these elves strayed and were captured by Morgoth's servants. In his fortress of Utumno, Morgoth subjected these captive elves to unspeakable torture and dark sorcery. Over time, the once fair elves were corrupted and transformed into the hideous orcs. This process was not merely physical. It was a profound spiritual and psychological mutilation. The orcs were stripped of their innate nobility and free will, becoming malevolent creatures bound to Morgoth's will. The transformation of elves into orcs involved both their bodies and spirits being twisted. They lost their natural beauty and grace, becoming grotesque and deformed. Their minds and souls were corrupted, filled with hatred, malice, and a thirst for destruction. This fundamental change reflected Morgoth's desire to mock Ilúvatar's creation and to spread his own evil influence across Middle-earth. Orcs were made to be utterly loyal to their dark master, driven by fear and hatred. Unlike the free peoples of Middle-earth, orcs had no true autonomy. Their actions were always influenced by the will of Morgoth and later Sauron. Morgoth bred vast hordes of orcs in the deep pits of Angband and Utumno, his fortresses in the north of Middle-earth. These orcs became the backbone of his armies, serving as the primary soldiers in his wars against the Valar and the free peoples of Middle-earth. The orcs participated in many of the great battles of the First Age, including the Battle of Sudden Flame and the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. After Morgoth's defeat and expulsion from the world at the end of the First Age, his most powerful lieutenant, Sauron, rose to power. Sauron, also a Maiar, inherited Morgoth's legacy of corruption and continued to breed and command the orcs. Under Sauron's influence, the orcs became even more numerous and organized. Sauron's orcs built fortresses and conducted raids across Middle-earth, perpetuating the cycle of violence and darkness initiated by Morgoth. Over time, different breeds of orcs emerged, reflecting the environments in which they were bred and the purposes they served. Some notable variants include the larger, more powerful Uruk-hai, bred by Saruman in the Third Age. The Uruk-hai were stronger, more disciplined, and could endure sunlight better than their predecessors, making them formidable opponents during the War of the Ring. The creation and existence of orcs serve as a profound illustration of several key themes in Tolkien's works. One prominent theme is the perversion of what is inherently good. The orcs, as twisted elves, symbolize the corruption of beauty and nobility into ugliness and malice. This transformation highlights the destructive power of evil, and the consequences of Morgoth's rebellion against Ilúvatar. Another theme is the loss of free will and autonomy. Orcs, bound to the will of Morgoth and Sauron, lack true freedom. Their existence is one of enslavement and fear, contrasting sharply with the free peoples of Middle-earth who fight for their autonomy and right to live in peace. The story of the Orcs' creation is one of the darkest tales in Tolkien's legendarium. It showcases Morgoth's deep-seated malice and his relentless drive to corrupt and dominate. The Orcs, once elves, represent the tragic outcome of this corruption, serving as a grim reminder of the cost of evil and the ongoing struggle between darkness and light in Middle-earth. Their legacy continued under Sauron, perpetuating the cycle of violence and highlighting the resilience of evil until the ultimate defeat of Sauron at the end of the Third Age. That concludes our journey into the dark pits of Middle-earth. Now go, dear traveler, as meat is back on the menu. The vault is now closed.